Oogly boogly bitch. Hey everyone, so it's time to talk about the other horrible person, the weird, lewd, inappropriate, sexual little bitch Zoro, and boy do I have some choice words for this kid. So a little background information about this person. Zoro is an incredibly lewd, sexual, and inappropriate 11 to 13-year-old from what I know, who sends... you're reading that right, this. He sends that. Very inappropriate sexual stuff to group chats he is in, servers.
Hey, future that Riola here. You'll see me pop in from time to time if I want to give a better explanation onto something or add more detail to it. So for example, for this one, he actually lied about his age on Discord in order to get into those inappropriate like servers.
And even personally DM me this stuff from time to time, despite how many times I and everyone else has told him to stop. When he sends that stuff, he will even sometimes say things like me and blank. Most of the time, that blank being me. And like, either he would blatantly say it was me, or putting heavy reference on it that it was me, or heavily suggesting that it was me. God, I hated it. And similar to Meme God, bro can't handle being pressured or cornered for, what he does. Now, before I get into the eyewitnesses, photo evidence, blah, 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 like I said, he sends, this stuff in group chats, servers, etc., all of which have people ranging from different ages, some users being under the age of 12, who shouldn't, under any case, be seeing anything like that at all the way to people who are 18 or even above the age of 18. That being said, there are multiple adults who have cornered this kid saying how he can't and shouldn't under any circumstances be sending that stuff. And he always goes like, oh, I'm a little fucked up in the brain, teehee. Yeah, like, alright dude. So let's talk about it. First off, this video is going to be a lot more of me and other eyewitnesses talking about it, and not a lot of photo evidence. And that's because, like I said before, this is the stuff he would send, and that's what a majority of my photo evidence is. And unless I want to get myself instantly banned, I'm not going to show that stuff. There might be a few images that I can somewhat blur and crop and be able to show, but for the most part, the only photos I'm going to show are the ones that are either us telling him multiple times to stop, me personally expressing how uncomfortable I am and how I want him to stop and how he continued to do it, us confronting him about what he's doing, or him personally, or him using, me personally for entertainment. I will also at some point talk about the sexual and suggestive motions and actions he did to me while in VRC.
Something else that you'll see me talk about later on is all the weird, lewd, and sexual messages that he sent me that were incredibly inappropriate, and when the time comes that I start to talk about that, I will be showing the pictures.
Now remember, as I'm going through and talking about this dude was incredibly manipulative and used me time and time again for entertainment, which I am so incredibly mad about, and I couldn't even explain to you how much I am. But we'll get into that later. But this whole main deal is him being an incredibly lewd, inappropriate, sexual weirdo who sends, like I said before, stuff like this, furries, My Singing Monsters crap, even Pokemon stuff, which of course with me, doing all this, and having a big love for fur Pokemon was really, really weird. Something else he would do is send me this stuff, or even say like POV you and me, or POV me and Riolu, and despite how much I despised it, told him to stop sending me that stuff and to stop saying stuff like me and Riolu with the photos. He never stopped, not once. So now let's get into it, which of course is going to involve even more talking, so yeah, you're gonna have fun with this one. So I'm going to structure the video like this: what he sent in group chats and my personal DMs, what he did to me in VRC, how he has used me for entertainment, what he has said to me and said he has done to me, eyewitnesses, and anything I might have missed. So starting off, straight and simple to the point, what he has sent. So this disgusting person has on multiple occasions sent, this of many different things, and for obvious reasons, like I said before, unless I want to get myself instantly banned, I can't exactly show any of it. But I will talk about it, and the stuff he sent included furry stuff, Pokemon stuff, My Singing Monster stuff, Plants vs. Zombie stuff, and many other things. And he would send these in servers and group chats all the time. These servers and group chats always had people that, had different varieties of ages, some being above 18 and some being below, and some even who were pretty dang young. But every time he would send one of these images, people in the server or group chat would always tell him he has to stop, and should under no circumstances be sending that stuff, and for reasons like there literally are adults in here as well as people who are under the age of 18, and like I said, sometimes even some people who were pretty young and should under no circumstances be exposed to that stuff or even know it exists. Like, side note, normally I would include photos in my script here, like for evidence and reference, so I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about it, but I don't even want to include it here in my script, because my script is in a Google Doc, and, it's connected to my school account, and unless, I want to get in some serious trouble for having that disgusting shit on here, I'm not going to do it, right? It is obviously and most definitely disgusting, and he needs to be punished for it, but every time we would get onto him about it, he would always use the excuse of, oh, I'm just a little fucked in the head, teehee. Maybe that would get you past one or maybe 2 times, but, like, after you've done it this many times on multiple occasions, like, there are literally minors in here that shouldn't be seeing this, and literally adults who, let it be known, never allowed it or encouraged it, and would always tell him to stop getting, to tell him to stop getting super mad when he sent it, because despite how they, like I said, never allowed it, they could still get in serious trouble because of you. They could literally have their own life ruined for something they never did, accepted, or allowed. And multiple times they would even tell him how he has to stop, because this could get them in such serious trouble. But he is so stupid and will always be all like, what do you mean? How is it bad? Like, what do you mean, how is it bad? You're sending... Like, dude, God, he's so stupid. And guess what else? He would personally DM me this shit all the fucking time. It was fucking disgusting every single time. I demanded this kid to, stop sending me this shit, and how incredibly bad it was, how disgusting it was, and how I even had serious talks with him where I expressed my feelings on the topic and how disgusted and uncomfortable I was. Like, this one time I sent him, like, a DM literally saying, like, this is your final warning, here's what I said.
And I would like to say before I show the photo that me and Zoro were genuinely really good friends until he started being incredibly lewd and sexual towards me, saying these sexual and inappropriate things and sending me this stuff. Here's the photo. Pause to read if you need.
Like, he is so weird. Like, holy crap. Like, I can't express it enough how much of this, stuff... Once again, I know you know what these are. He would send to group chats, and me personally, and how incredibly uncomfortable it made me, and everyone else. How many times would we would tell this kid to stop? It was disgusting. But he would never stop sending it. Now let's get into what he did to me personally in VRC. So this incredibly lewd inappropriate weird person would play VR chat with me a lot, and I mean like a lot. It was to the point where he was absolutely obsessed with me, to the point where it was stupid. And one thing he would do to me is, God, how do I explain this? Okay, I'm a little off script right now because I just have to talk about this, but like every so often he would go down to the lower area of my body and that one meme / hand motion? Yeah, that motion. He no shit would come up to me, lean down to that general area and do that right there. And holy crap, I told this bro not to do that all the time. Like, you could tell how uncomfortable I was just by hearing my voice and how I would pull away from him when he would do it. I would tell him no and to stop every time, but he wouldn't stop doing it. Stop means stop, no means no. When someone says that tells you to stop doing it, you don't continue to do it, especially when it's something like that. He would always say he won't do it again, and then 5 minutes later he goes and does it again. And let it be known, he did this all the time, everywhere. Private worlds, public worlds, like, where people would see him do it, which made me even more uncomfortable. Like, some of the other stuff he would do is pretend to, he is,
I have difficulty explaining this next part for obvious reasons that you'll see here in a second, but please just, listen to my wording carefully and really understand what I'm trying to say.
I can't really say it. I don't think I can, but he would pretend to be doing, and I'm not just using that meme for reference, and I don't mean he did it as a funny joke or to recreate that meme, just to be funny. I mean he would literally pretend he's just straight up doing it. He would do this all the time. He would literally pretend he is ing me. If you understand what I'm trying to say, okay, here, actually let me do this. So I'm going to say 2 letters. I'm going to say some other words, alright, so no one thinks I'm saying anything bad, and then I'm going to suddenly stop again and say another few more letters, alright? He would pretend that he is F, U, and then this is just me talking, so no one actually thinks I'm saying anything bad. C, K, I, N, G. He would pretend he was doing that to me. And half the time I didn't even notice because he was behind me.
As he was doing this, he'd also be moaning my name at the same time, which just added to how incredibly weird and inappropriate it was.
So it's like, dude, that's disgusting. So yeah, that's that. So now let's talk about how he used me for entertainment. So, back when I first met this dude, it was way back when I was at like 100 something followers. And before all this started going down, I was like genuinely friends with him. So we added each other on Discord so we could talk more about, when we want to play VR chat and whatnot, right? Well, it ended up being a lot more than that, as you could probably tell. First, let me give a little background information. I personally, absolutely, 100%, without a doubt, hate roleplays so freaking much. I find it so boring, so incredibly weird and cringe, like the normal person, right?
I want to take a second to truly reiterate how incredibly much I despise roleplays. Like, I just find them so incredibly weird.
Well, Zoro was quote-unquote depressed. I don't know if he really was or not, but he definitely used being depressed as a crutch. And he told me that roleplay was something that made him happy and made him feel better. So, again, me being friends with him at the time, I wanted to do anything I could to make him feel better. So despite how much I didn't want to, I did roleplay with him from time to time and low-key hated every second of it. Because of one, like I said, I find it really weird and cringe and all in all, just like really dislike doing it. And two, I would waste hours, and I mean hours of my day, like 2 to 3 hours a day, that I could have been spent doing other things that not only were more important, like homework and schoolwork and such, but also things that I enjoyed a lot more doing. But no, I would waste hours of my day doing this with this dude all the freaking time. And I'm not talking about every other day he would do this. He would just jump in Discord and start saying roleplay stuff. And if I didn't respond to him, he would start saying stuff like, hey man, I'm not doing so good, or dude, I can't take it anymore, I'm gonna unalive myself, or even like, I'm scared bro, I'm literally in my room freaking out with a knife in my hand, I'm gonna do it. I would then get manipulated and feel the need to talk to him and help him, because like I said, this dude was technically my friend at the time. Then after talking to him and helping him through it, for only like 2 minutes, so it wasn't even like anything bad like he was making it seem, he would act completely fine, and then lead the conversation into a roleplay session where I now felt very manipulated and almost felt forced to join the conversation roleplay, because if I didn't, he would go right back to the I'm gonna unalive myself crap, in which once again I would go back to help him, and then he leads it into the conversation into a roleplay yet again, rinse and repeat,
And he would do this like 90% of the time.
So you might be thinking, did the roleplays ever get kind of weird or inappropriate? Because from what I've heard, this dude acts incredibly weird, lewd, and inappropriate, and even sexual towards you, and is even very horny towards you. Oh, and even sends pornographic images and photos that are incredibly lewd, inappropriate, and sexual. In which I respond with a yes. Yes, they did get really weird, and boy do I hate it. Now, I'm going to go off script and just kind of talk about it a little bit and how, explain how cringe, it was and how I hated every second of it, right? So, every single time we would do this, like I mentioned before, I hated every single second of it. I hated roleplay in general. I found it really cringe, and he would make it so incredibly cringe. And I'm not even lying about that, right? But he would always make it so weird. Like, I'm not just talking kind of weird feelings kind of deal. I mean, like, this dude would, God, I hate saying it, create very sexual scenarios in the role plays themselves. Now, anytime that it was kind of weird, or I noticed that it was getting kind of weird, obviously I'd make an excuse to get out of it. But, like I mentioned before, I now know that I was basically just being used for entertainment. Because like I also said, anytime I tried to pull away, he would say he's going to do something to himself. And so I felt bad. I felt like I was being, manipulated. Because I felt that since he was my friend, I almost had a duty and was like supposed to help him when he wasn't feeling good, But in reality, I guarantee you half the time, he wasn't even depressed. He was just trying to get my attention so we could do some role play for, his own entertainment. He never once thought of me and how much I hated it, because he knew how much I hated it. He never once thought of me and how much I hated it and how much time I'm wasting out of my day as a high schooler trying to do this with him to make him feel better.
He never once took how I felt about roleplays under consideration. He would always do it just for him and only him. He never once thought about me and how I felt about roleplays. He knew I hated it.
Now let's get into what he has said to me and what he has said he has done to me. So the biggest thing he said he did to me is one that if I'm gonna be honest, I'm off script right now. I don't really like talking about this. Like, it makes me super uncomfortable to think about it in a way, and you'll see what I mean in like a second here, but like, it just makes me so incredibly uncomfortable to think that someone did that to me. But I don't have the original photo of the text of him saying this because he deleted it shortly after, but I do have the photo of when I kind of told him that he has to stop acting so weird, lewd, sexual, and sexual, towards me, or I'm gonna, have to leave. And as well as, how this one particular text that I'll tell you in a second here, that he sent made me so incredibly uncomfortable and like, yeah, okay, I hate talking about it, but I'm just going to get it over with. So here's what he said. He said / admitted that he had nutted to me one time. Yes, you fucking heard that right. This kid said how he had nutted to me one time. This is, from what I know, a 12-year-old kid at the time saying he had nutted to me on complete and total purpose. Nutted. And to just sit here and like see that text come through was one of the most uncomfortable moments I think I've ever had in my entire life. I cannot explain to you how much of a shock and how weird it made me feel. And like I've said multiple times, I had felt so uncomfortable seeing that text. It's just like, man, I don't know. It's just fucking disgusting. I don't fucking know, man. Holy shit. I need a break from this, dude. Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. It makes me feel so uneasy and uncomfortable still to think about it to this day. But anyways, so one of the other things this kid has said to me multiple times is how he wants to, now I know for a fact I can't show this word on TikTok, so I'm probably gonna have to blur it or crop it out, but use your just common knowledge and you'll probably know what it says. But he has said on multiple occasions how he wants to blank me. You're probably reading that right. It is what you think it is. He has said multiple times how he wants to, R, and then saying some extra words to make people not think I'm going to say it, and then ape me. So, yeah, that's fun. There have been some other times in which he has blatantly said he wants to, F me, which is another really big thing that I hate to think about and is really weird to think about, but there's that too.
He on multiple occasions has also called me sweetie. He has also said that I have a big juicy hot dog, if you know what that's symbolizing, and as well as he wants to blanket while I sleep. Here he is saying how he has been, I can't really say that, when we first met. I'm pretty sure I don't really have to explain this one, it's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah. Here's another that I'm pretty sure doesn't really need much of an explanation.
Now, like I mentioned before, this dude sent me a lot of inappropriate images, right? Kind of like I mentioned before. But with all these images, he would either blatantly say this or heavily suggest that it was me and him. And it's just, that's disgusting. There was multiple times in which he had asked me, and I'll show these pictures because I know I can show this, but there's been a few times in which he has asked me, hey, what are your favorite colors? Just out of nowhere, and I just think he's okay, he's just making a normal kind of just asking me a question. So I say, okay, blue and green. And then he says, okay, thank you, or whatever he said. And then shortly later that day, he sends me a photo of a drawing that he made, which technically speaking, is appropriate, blah, 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 but it's a really weird image where it's basically, although it's not blatantly said it's me, it doesn't look like me. It's heavily implied that it's me and suggested that it's me because it's a certain furry character with a green and blue shirt. The two colors that I told him were my favorite. And then what appears to be a dragon, which at the time was his OC, licking the furry, which That just makes me so uncomfortable. That is so fucking weird. Another time is he knows like that I use for all my videos, blue text. And there was this one time how he sent me a picture, which was a vor picture of a dinosaur with something in its stomach, but the text was blue. The conversation before it all talked about it. It was heavily suggested that it was me in that stomach and he as the dinosaur. That's fucking disgusting. Not only that, but when we were doing those fucking disgusting ass roleplay sessions, he would always create these vor type scenarios, which then again made me feel stupid, uncomfortable. Or he would send, these vor pictures of like him saying like you and me, or again, like I said before, heavily suggesting it was me. But when we would do these roleplay sessions, the main thing he did was try to turn every single fucking ending or some shit into a fucking vor situation, and it was so fucking disgusting, dude. Like, holy shit, I hated how I did that with him. I hated how he'd like how I felt so forced to do that shit, bro. Holy crap. So now that that's out of the way, here's some eyewitnesses. So here's another one that you saw before, Seven, my good friend, who has also not only seen how, Zoro acts around me in VRC, and we will confirm me saying how he would go down to my area and, do that. He will confirm that and confirm all the stuff that I've been saying before about how he acts incredibly lewd and inappropriate towards me. And not only that, but will also send me these inappropriate photos all the time. He'll get all into all that because he's seen it. He's an eyewitness, like I said. He's seen it all. He's seen it in him do it in VR chat when I play with him. He's seen it like in the group chats, and I've sent him pictures of the DMs of what he sends me. He can confirm it all. So it's like, once again, it's another like long 6-minute kind of deal, kind of video. So just like sit back, relax, get some popcorn, and then here he is to talk about it.
Now we're going to talk about the big meaty cake of this. ZoroRonin. The big man himself. The, I believe, 11 to 12 to 13-year-old who probably just shouldn't be on any social media platform just to begin with. So, I don't have much time to explain all of this, but I'll go ahead and hit some of the major points. First up, and the main part that just makes all this wrong, me, an adult, along with several other adults, were inside of a group chat with several other people, some minors, some adult, but there were some really, really minors in that chat. And this one, Zoro, decided that it would be just a good idea to send, one of these multiple times into the chat. Things of furry variety, Pokemon variety, and on top of that, just also making comments saying, oh yeah, me and whoever, most of the time being Riolu. Which is really weird, especially due to the fact that Riolu was going to be an adult in a very, very short amount of time. But the big issue is regarding me and the other people in that chat who are adults. What do you think if someone's mother decides to just, one day look over some kid's phone who's a part of that group chat and see stuff of that nature, as well as other people in that chat who are adults? What do you think they're going to do? On the offhand, they could just, take Discord away from the little kid and say Discord's bad, yada yada yada, make some Twitter post and then call it a day. On the other note, just simply with us being in that group chat, they could start up some sort of investigation to tear through our lives in order to figure out why there's stuff like that in a chat with minors. And it won't look very good on our part, especially with other people who have, I'm not going to exactly say exactly who, but some people in that chat who have had some past regarding issues like that. And if that that were to be found, and people were to make accusations, they could get into some serious trouble and sent away to places that they won't be able to come back from. Their lives will be changed just because a little kid wants to send some furry stuff into a group chat with adults. But it doesn't really stop there. I'm sure Riolu already mentioned some of this in his portion of the video, but to reiterate it, Zoro has been latched on to Riolu, to my understanding, for a very long time, initiating tons of different behaviors that are just very inappropriate, which I'm sure you can see some of the, messages and maybe some videos that have been gathered, audios. I'm not sure. You might see them placed here and there, and what some of the stuff was going on. And just to mention a few, many weird role plays, which you can probably see cycling through. And they've been going on for years, with Zoro just saying, as an excuse, it makes him feel better. It makes him feel less depressed. I wonder who that sounds like. Meme god. Sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. I had a nuisance stuck in my throat. My bad. Anyway. It just keeps happening over and over and over again, using mental health as a way to get Riolu to do these things, and to get him to continue doing these things. And it gets even worse whenever me, Riolu, and other people try to confront him about the stuff being sent in the group chat. You know what his excuse was? Oh, I'm a little screwed up in the head. Oh, I'm a little messed up. Which you can see those messages appearing right here. We've taken screenshots of them. Oh, I'm a little screwed up in the head. I have issues wrong with me, which gives me the right to do things like this. Word for word, he said that. Just because he has these mental issues, that it gives him the right to do these things and have no punishment. The worst part about this, too, is that it took a lot of explaining to Riolu for him to realize that all these years he was basically just being kind of used, and I wouldn't really say, well, okay, it's definitely a form of violation. I don't know about abused is the right word, but definitely violated. Which is why you just need to look out for people like this, and most importantly, if you see Zoro, which I'm sure you can see screenshots of all of his different contacts and of all of his social media stuff, do not interact with him. If he's so messed up in the head, then there's no reason for people to be around him to begin with.
Oh, yeah, one more thing. Forgot to mention on the video, but a lot of weird stuff would happen in VR chat too. Very, certain stuff. Or explicit behavior. It was Zoro doing something to Riolu, albeit it was most likely just joking around. When someone says stop, you don't continue, even if it's multiple times.
My other eyewitness is actually, again, someone that a lot of you may know, and that is Oronite. So here he is with some audio talking about, what Zoro has done to me and to him. And once again, he will prove that all these claims that I am making are in fact true, and he was just a disgusting person like this.
That's when it hit me. They're fucking done. I'm done with them. 'Cause they're doing something that they should not be doing in the first place. So after time and time, I saw what was going on. I denied it, but now it's a full-blown attack. They're using their own military knife, slowly picking out who they don't want, and stabbing who they don't like. Became personal. Why was it personal? Well, if my stuttering and crying wasn't enough, not only having to stop to catch my breath, they were hurting you. They were. I was seeing them, especially fucking Zoro, I saw what he was doing. He ain't sneaky. He was using you. I don't know where he gets it from. I don't know how he gets it. But it just got me more upset seeing Being God do it. And I was like, damn it. Now there's more going on top of you. Not only Mean God, but Zoro and everyone else is going to feel the effects of it. And they're not going to like it. I ignored what they're saying. I'm ignoring it because I don't want to accept it. Seeing what's going on. Knowing what they're doing. First, they used it as a tool, like a military. They used it as a tool to get past everyone. And now they're using it to stab who they don't like. And I don't like this at all. Thing that I once trusted. That I once thought was good. And not anymore. I noticed they were following you. Going where you went. Not listening to you. Disobeying what you said. Denying what you're saying. That hurt me. This isn't right. What they are doing, they're using you. You, like me, knew what was going on. They didn't. It made me realize they didn't give a shit. So to me, I noticed, for one, they took out who they didn't like, kept what they needed. Two, they not only did that, but they denied it. They swept it under the rug and were like, we're not going to talk about this again. They were cutting you out of the picture. That didn't sit right with me. I don't trust them. After that first stone, like I said, I knew what was going on. He said, Aura, you'll abandon me. And I was like, no shit. It was gonna happen. What did you expect? You kept going like this, like a fucking military knife. You were relentless. You were the one pushing him away. He never patched the wound and decided to keep digging it in. I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I ghost them. I ghost the fuck out of them. So Riolu, if you've been wondering on what I've been doing, the whole time I was with you, I was the one protecting you from what I was not assuming, but I knew what was happening because it played out like it did with that one friend. But I ain't liking them at all. I don't like them because of seeing what they're doing to you. Next time I see them say anything, especially about you, I'm gonna fucking ban them instantly out of my fucking server, out of my life. I didn't like this. From the beginning, I didn't like it. Because I knew what was going on. I tried protecting you. But they kept using that fucking military, especially Zoro. I couldn't fucking stand him. He was everywhere.
That's about all I have. That's it. All the information I got, all the evidence I got, that's all right there. I still have plenty of more evidence. I'm running out of time. And like I said, all the main evidence, which is the inappropriate photos and crap that he sent me and all that stuff, is what my main evidence is. And once again, I can't show that. So what I will do is, like I mentioned before, here's my Discord. So in case you would like to, show me some support in this situation, that'd be awesome. And if you'd like to see more evidence or talk to me about it, completely understandable. Like I said before, that's completely understandable, completely fine. I understand that. Or if you would say like to see those photos that I'm talking about for evidence, so you know that I'm not lying, That's perfectly fine too. However, the one request that I have is that in a few days here, I will be 18. And so I'm going to wait until then, first of all. And then second of all, not only do I have to be 18, which I will be in a few days here, but you also have to be 18. And if both of us don't meet the requirements at the time, I will not be showing you the photos. Straight, simple, to the point. And then finally, like I said for the other dude, block this dude. Tell your friends to block him, unfollow him, just block him everywhere. Get this dude out of your life. I don't want y'all to go through the same shit that I did and have to deal with the same shit that I did with this kid. So just please block him everywhere, unfriend him. If you're talking to him, leave now before it gets too bad. Just protect yourself, all right? I don't want, not only, like I said, I don't want him to repeat what he did to me to you, and you might not even notice that it's actually happening to you as well. So please just take my word for this and just leave this dude. Don't interact with him at all, all right? All right, thank you all for watching this, because I know this was another long one, but I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you again.